hello everyone. We're 3 minutes ahead of time. I can see a few people dropping in. G'day Darren, hello Marion. If you can just pop in the chat window that all is okay and you can hear me, and where you're calling in from would be nice to know. Hello Linda. We're just allowing people to join, so if you can just pop a all is well in your world, you can hear, you can see everything as well. The chat pane should be sitting towards the bottom of your screen. It'll look like a little speech bubble. And if you just pop in there, yep, you can hear me, all is well. And you got a water or a wine, it's that time of the evening. You're allowed to have a beer or a wine. All good from Stanthorpe. Thank you, Marion. Darren, Linda, what about you guys? I'm hoping you can hear me. We'll just allow a couple of minutes for a few other people to join. All good, Darren. Linda says, hi, I can't stay. Do I get a recording? Absolutely, you get the recording. We are recording now, and that will be sent out by the ASPAS team within 72 hours. And if I can figure out where it's recording to, I'll send you a copy as well. So you'll probably get a couple of copies over the next few days, which is always good, as you can watch that in your own time. So Linda, travel safe. And if you need any further information on Canva or you want to do a deeper session, then watch till the end and you'll learn how you can do that. Christine, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. If you just want to pop in the window that you can hear and just let me know where you're dialing in from this evening. We've got people coming in from WA and also from Queensland. I don't think we got anyone from the NT, so be interested to know where everyone's coming from. Toowoomba. You're only down the road. Should have popped in, and well, I'm in Sydney to be fair tonight, but you know, otherwise you could have popped in and we could have done it across the kitchen table. But lovely to have you with us. All right, a minute to go, folks. WA, perfect. It's still just what, about 4 o'clock, going on 4 o'clock over there, I think, Darren. So I hope you've had a wonderful day. We will kick off at 6 o'clock. Let's go. I'm hoping a few other people will drop in, and if they do, they'll, you know, we can all tell them what good stuff they have missed out on so far. So you don't need to be staring at my ugly mug for the next hour. I have a great head for radio. I'm a podcaster. So let me switch the video off and let me go to share screen and let's get started. So folks, we're here tonight to talk about Canva. I will be keeping one eye on the chat pane, so and I will be pausing, you know, every now and again to make sure that I'm covering off any questions that anyone has. So if you do have anything, feel free to pop them in. I'll pause every now and again, just make sure that we're covering everything off, and there'll be, hopefully, if I do this right, there'll be some time at the end to go into any deeper questions that anybody has. So this evening we're talking about how to get the most from your free Canva account. So hopefully everyone's in the right webinar. If I see people suddenly drop out, then I'm guessing that's because you're in the wrong webinar. So lots of good reasons for us to be creating visual content, as we all know. I'm going to give you 5 of them really quickly and why Canva is going to help you hit those 5 good reasons. So firstly, visual content is more likely to be recalled 3 days after seeing it, and that's compared to 10% of the written word. So, you know, the older picture tells 1,000 words. By getting a good visual, you're more likely to get your content and your point across to people, and more people are going to remember and be able to recall what it was that you were trying to tell them days after seeing the information. Point 2, people follow visual content 323% better than written instructions. Now, I thought this was really interesting. So I'm married to an engineer and he's very process driven. So very, you know, step 1, step 2, step 3, this happens in this order. Majority of people actually like to get photos. This, you know, take a screenshot, do this, it'll look like this, take another screenshot, do this, or walk through videos. So another good reason that visual content is so important in business. Number 3, 37% higher engagement on Facebook using visuals. So we're all looking for better engagement with our Facebook posts, with Instagram. We know that's a visual platform, even with LinkedIn and with Twitter. Far more likely to get engagement if you use compelling visuals. So another good reason to be looking at exploiting what Canva has to offer us. Number 4, articles with images get 94% of views, more views. So if anyone's a blogger, and I hope that you are, because it's a great way to entice people over to your website and to be engaging with your content, we know that blogs or articles that we write, 94% more views if you pop an image in there. Last one, number 5, people share infographics 3 times more than any other content. Now, infographics, if you haven't come across them before, here's one I did myself on creating a podcast, 5 quick steps to creating a podcast. Now, that little thing that you see on the side there, that is an infographic. So it's just a very quick representation of some content. And I created that in Canva. So we'll walk through some of those things this evening. But first, a word from our sponsor. So just want to tell you a little bit about ASPAS and the Australian Small Business Advisory Service, as they are the ones that are sponsoring tonight's webinar. So ASPAS, for those of you who haven't been involved with the program before, and there are a few new names on the register, so welcome. It's a federally funded initiative involving Business Station in the WA and RDA in Brisbane, Queensland, and Treaty in the Northern Territory. So Business Station in WA won the rights to roll out the Australian Small Business Advisory Service on behalf of WA, Northern Territory and Queensland, and they've partnered with RDA Brisbane in Queensland. RDA is the Regional Development Australia, partnered with RDA Brisbane to roll out these facilities across Queensland. ASPAS itself is available to small business owners with fewer than 19 employees. You've got to have a current ABN, and the only other real requirement is a digital to upskill your digital capabilities. Only other one I need to mention is, sadly, we can't work with not-for-profit. So you've got to be a for-profit business, but hopefully everybody in business is for-profit anyway, so you're in the right room. So how does it work? ASPAS itself run 2-hour workshops. They run 1-hour webinars like you're on this evening. And we can also offer 1-hour one-to-one consultations. Now, those one-to-one consultations are where we spend time as an advisor with you directly on a particular topic that you're interested in learning more for your business. So it might be you want to go deeper into Canva, you want to look at Facebook ads, you want to learn how to start a podcast, you want to get a content strategy together, you want to understand social media a little bit better. Anything to do around that digital landscape, you can utilize a one-on-one consult, and we can dive deeper into just your business. So it's just you and I spending 1 hour looking into your business. All right, so that's it for ASPAS. A little bit about me, and then let's kick off with Canva. So you know why I'm sitting here with my camera off now, hosting this webinar. As I said, my name is Tracy Sheen. My business is Unusual Comms. It is a digital marketing agency based in Queensland, but I didn't start out that way. So I first kicked off when I was about 5 and spoke on stage at the Sydney Opera House. So I was very lucky to be one of the very few people that can say that, you know, they had their life peak at around 5 or 6. When I was 6, I had my first article published in a national newspaper. So from there, it kind of went downhill, but, you know, nice to say I can put on the resume that I spoke at the Opera House. I grew up behind the counter of a general store in regional New South Wales. So I was raised in Casino. This isn't my store. Sadly, we lived in an era where photos weren't taken of everything every 33 seconds. So this is a pretty close representation, actually. I had to kind of double take when I saw this photo of what my store looked like. So that was me growing up behind the counter, standing up on milk crates, trying to reach cigarettes for customers when I was 8. And wasn't allowed near the deli slicer until I was, you know, old enough to not stand on a milk crate. From there, I started working in the 90s and got straight into digital telecommunications and marketing. So I launched office automation for Harvey Norman. So that was the old fax machines. laptop computers. I launched mobile phones for them and things like that. Worked with Harvey Normans for a number of years and was lucky to be directly mentored by Jerry Harvey for the first part of my working career. I went through to launch 3 different mobile networks with both Telstra and Optus. So I was around from the old analog phone days with the old big Motorola brick, if you any of those remember those, or the big transportables or the car phones. I was involved right back from those days through to the launch of the iPhone, the very first iPhone in Australia. I also did the SMS pilot. So anytime you text anybody, I'm partly responsible for that. And I either apologize or you're welcome, depending on how you feel about texting. And a nice little side note, actually SMS and texting came about to assist the deaf community as a way to communicate. So that was nice to be involved with the pilot for that. I'm a trained copywriter, so I learnt my copywriting skills in radio and television. So I worked for DMG Radio, which owned Nova, amongst others, but I worked in a regional area, and I also worked for Channel 7 under Prime Television in New South Wales. So I learnt how to write ads and how to write copy, which then became content for later on for clients for websites and things like that. I have worked as a radio announcer when I was in radio in Coffs Harbour, and that was a lot of fun. And from there, I became a sales and marketing trainer, and I have run, over 1,000 workshops and trained several thousand people across the country, and had a lot of fun doing that over the years before I moved into my own business. I got started in podcasting. For anyone who listens to podcasts, I kicked off a podcast around about 10 years ago. I launched the world's first panel style podcast, which was called Not Another Business Show. And I've since gone on to become one of the Australian judges for the podcasting awards since they kicked off 3 years ago. I'm also a judge for the Australian Business Book Awards, and I've just finished doing that, which was a lot of fun. All right, that's it from me and all the associated stuff that you need to kind of hear about to know that you're in the right room. Let's kick off with some stuff about Canva. Now, I just want to go straight to my screen here, because what I want to do is just spend the time actually showing you around Canva and what you can get up to with the free account. Now, you may be aware that Canva do offer free and paid versions. Tonight, we're just going to talk about what facilities are available with the free service. So quick poll, let me just check in. Can you just let me know who's using Canva right now? And who is a complete newbie to what is Canva and why am I here? So just pop a little note in the chat box and let me know where you are on the scale of newbie to I've had a bit of a play with it. Using now and think it's awesome. Fantastic. Love that, Christine. Renee, you're new. Perfect. You're going to get a lot of value out of this and you're going to have a lot of fun. Marion used it a bit. Fantastic. Excellent. All right. That's great. Thanks, guys. Newbie, Mike, had a browse, but never used it in anger. All right. Well, hopefully we're not going to use it in anger tonight. But you might come up with some ideas for some social media memes that you can put that wit to, Mike, over the course of the next hour. So let's kick off. This is what you see, folks, when you log into Canva. Now, if you've not been in there before, simply type in canva.com. It will take you to sign in. Much like signing into any other software platform, just put your email address and a password. Please do make the password something that you don't use for other things. Canva did have a breach around about 12 months ago. It's been fine ever since, but just a bit of a security tip as an extra ASPAS offering this evening. Try and keep your passwords separate. Don't use the same thing for everyone. You want to make it difficult for people to hack into any accounts that you have. So once you're in, you'll see that the way Canva works is you'll have a panel down the left-hand side here where you can either go from home, all your designs, templates, etc. down the left, or you can just type in something that you want to have a look at here. So let's go ahead and create a design. And from there, it's going to give you options. So do you want to create a poster? Do you want to create a Facebook cover? Do you want to create an infographic like the one I did about the podcasting, an email header, an event cover, a logo, a LinkedIn banner? So as you can see, it goes on and on and on with the different things that you can offer or you can create. And also down here, you can see here's the different styles of things that you can be creating. So for the purposes of this, let's say we're going to play with a Facebook post. Actually, social media. Let's go with social media. So we click on that, it will open up a second page. Now you can see, folks, that it's actually opened up a second page. So if I click back to home, it's back where we started. So don't ever panic that, oh, what's happened to that main page and I don't want to do that now. I want to find a Facebook event because that's what I want to work on. That's fine. Just pop back over to your home page. But as soon as you click on something you want to work on, it's going to open that in a second tab for you. Now, once you're in the tab to create, you'll see up the top here, you now have your header banner. And then similar to what we had on the home, we now have our left-hand panel with the different information in there. First thing you need to do, or otherwise, if you're anything like me, you will forget, here's where you name your design. Now, I'd like you to think about this in terms of, you know, starting with the end in mind. When you're creating your very first Canva piece, social media piece, or whatever it is that you're creating for the first time, not a big deal when you've only got one thing sitting in your full of designs on Canva. So if I look back to my home page where it says your designs, now you can see over the years I've created quite a few things. So you can imagine if you're searching for that down the track and you're going, oh, what did I call that thing? So start to think now about what we call a naming convention. Can you call all of your Canva stuff, you know, something that's going to make sense to you, and whether you then set up a Word doc or an Excel spreadsheet or something at a later point where you can capture those names and remember them at, you know, at any given time. It's just worthwhile putting a little bit of thought into right from the get-go, what's your naming convention going to look like? So let's say in this instance, we're going to call it ASPAS hyphen webinar post. Now that's going to automatically save as ASPAS webinar post. So anytime I want to look for that, I've just got to think, oh, it's that thing I did for the ASPAS webinar, and it will show up there. Now on the left-hand side here, if we look down, you can see a bunch of different offerings here. Now the first one is your templates. And what that will do is it will give you the option of, if you work within a particular sector, say for example, you're in real estate, this will give you a bunch of different options to utilize that Canva know work within the real estate sector. If you're looking for a social media graphic that's a quote, you know, you can have a look in here, a sales, travel, days and events, parties, tips, all results. So, you know, have a bit of a playthrough there. You can see that there's quite a lot of offerings in there. So for the purposes of this, let's say we're going to go with a motivational quote. We find the one we like the look of, and it doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to show you how you can customize pretty much anything that you bring across. So let's go with this one. Now you can either click on it or you can drag it across. So if you just click on it, it's going to populate over here, and you can see that that's now sitting in this pane for us to work on. Now, if you look at that and you go, yeah, it doesn't look as good as what I thought. I actually like the look of that one. That's all right. Just click over the top and it will replace it. So that's the first thing to know. It's pretty easy to navigate around. Now, once you're in here, everything in here that you can see is pretty much customizable. So if you can see straight up here is the background color. So if I go, yeah, I don't actually want that blue, I just click on that. Now, for example, if you know the colors that are representing your brand, so if you've had your color palette done by a designer, you can type in the color belonging to your brand. So 65A99C, just so you know, is my unusual comms coloring, and it will change that background color for you. But let's stick with the blue because that kind of looks pretty, right? So all of that is customizable. You only have to click on the individual things, open up your color palette and customize away. So they're your default colorings. If you want something else, hit on the plus. You can slide it up and down to your heart's content, or if you know your RG colorings, you can pop it in there as well. All right, so the next thing, we've got that in there. The next thing we want to have a look at on the left-hand side underneath templates. So remember, this is where we got our initial template from. Directly underneath that is photos. Now, you'll see in here as you hover over, can you see there that it's got free beside it? So clearly, if it's got a free beside it, you know, go for gold. You can use that. There is no costing on that whatsoever. As you scroll through, occasionally you'll find one and it might have a bit of a grid across it. Let me see if I can find one and show you. When that happens, it's a paid photo. It's a paid element. Now you have the option of just paying for that as a one-off, but I'll see if I can find one of those in a minute. So let's just say, you know, we wanted to use this. If I click on that, it will import the photo directly over the top. Now, I might not want that, but, you know, in this instance, we can say, well, actually, you know, I want to move that up here, or I want to do something else with that. So for this, though, I'm just going to delete that. So if I move that over there and I go, oh, that looks horrible, just make sure that it's clicked and go to your trash can and it will get rid of it. So that's your photos. They all live in there. If you're looking for something in particular, you know, you type in what you're looking for and it will bring up, hey, look, there's the free one that I used on the slide deck. It will bring up photos of dogs or whatever that you've searched for. Now, usually at this point, someone says to me, can I upload my own photos? Absolutely, you can, and we'll get to that in a second. So the next one down is your elements. And these are just various little things. You might want to pop a chart into something if you're doing a presentation. You might want to use a sticker if you're doing a Instagram post or something. You might want to add a line. So, you know, you've got that nice frame or that nice line. You might want to add some icons or some social media graphics. Now, here's an example you can see next to the Google Plus. This image can be purchased for $1 Australian. So you can either add that and purchase that as a one-off. If it's got a little crown beside it, it means that it's part of Canva Pro, and you'll get that for free in inverted commas if you upgrade to Canva Pro, or you can pay the $1 to utilize it in that one-off post. Now I'm just going to pause and make sure that we've got no questions as yet, because there's a lot kind of we've covered already and we're only part way in. So any questions about selecting a template or popping a photo over yet, or are you happy for me to keep going? Just pop some thoughts so to make sure that you haven't disappeared off to pour in another wine or something while I'm going through everything. Excellent, fantastic. I will keep trucking along then. The next part down is text. Now, a couple of options. You can either click on the text in the box and you can see in this top line here, it's brought up the text that, you know, this font rather that is in. So that's League Spartan. And you can see it's ticked over here. Now, if you don't like that, then that's okay. Canva has 500 font options that you can look at. If you have a particular font that your business uses and you've paid for and you own, you can even upload your font. So you will find something that you like, I have no doubt. If I want to change it, all I do is click on it. And as you can see, it's now become the other font. So let's just click back. Now at this point, you can also adjust the sizing. Okay. Go back to 32. You can adjust the coloring. So if I want to make that black, I can adjust the alignment. So from justified, left to right to middle. wherever you want that. You can change the casing, you can import lists or bullet points, and you can change the spacing. So I want, if you watch the font here, always say, if I change the lettering, you can see that that's stretching it out. And the line height as well. We have a question. Sorry, how do I select the font? I'm working on an iPad. So on the iPad, you will still have the option of the fonts along the side. So where I've highlighted this, it will still be showing up in a similar space. And you simply drop that down and it will work on changing the font. However, if you can't find something you like, on the left-hand side here, we're going to go to text, and you can either add a font selection. I'll just enlarge that a little so you can see it. You can either add a font selection, and this is where Canva's gone, we know that this combination of fonts look good together. So you can just import that combination of fonts. So let me get rid of that. You can just import a combination of fonts again by clicking on it, and it will drag it over. Or you have the option of choosing your own font. So I'm just going to get rid of that again. And you can say, I want to add a heading. So you just click on it, it adds the heading, and at that point, you see I've just dragged and moved that down. That's something else you can do, as position where you want things to go. You can change the sizing. So if there's a line or there's dots, you can move those things about. So if I've added a heading, I can now just highlight all that text and again change the font that I want it to look like. So there's a lot of flexibility there with what you can do. If you decide I actually don't need a bit of text there, again, just up to the trash can, and that's going to get rid of it. Up to the trash can, and you'll see this actually has two sections to it. The first, it says this certifies that, and then it's William Alexander. If I click on the trash can now, it's going to say to me, do I want to delete an element or do I want to delete the group? Now, if I delete the group, that's going to get rid of everything, both those lines. If I delete the element, it's just going to get rid of the one that I'm highlighted on. So we'll delete the element, and you can see that William's gone away. Now, if I delete that and I go, actually, I didn't want to do that. Here's a nice little trick. Command Z, Control Z if you're on a PC. If you're on a Mac, it'll be Command Z, and that's just going to take you back. It's just the undo button. So it's going to take you back all the way to where you started. So don't ever kind of panic that, you can't get back from where you were, because you'll always find the ability to get back. So that's text. And again, the things are in the group. Now, if you can see these elements here, these 4 quarters, that literally means if I hold and drag, it's going to increase the size of that element or that group. And if I click on this little thing, it's going to turn my font around. So if I'm trying to be really, doing a sales post, for example, and I want to say, sale ends Sunday or something, or ends tomorrow, I might want to have that in big bold font, diagonally across the picture of what was on sale or something. So in that instance, you can spin the font around or spin the text around, which is really handy. They always do try and populate the little Canva thing on there. You can get rid of that. So just go ahead and click that. So, all right, the next thing down, you can insert a video. So if you are doing a presentation, so one of the things you can do is a slide deck, for example, on here, if you have a presentation to do, or if you're creating some kind of online brochure that you want some more visual standout content. Excuse me for a second, I'll have a drink. You can insert a video as well. So those are all there. Again, go for gold, having a look through. There is so much content in there. I advise you to put aside some time and just go down the Canva rabbit hole, because you're going to have so much fun creating this stuff. The best way I found people to learn Canva is if they have a party or a kids party or a moving house or a Christmas or anything like that, use it to design the invites, because you're going to have a lot of fun doing that. Okay, next one I want to show you is the uploads. Now this is where you're actually able to upload your own images or video. So for example, you might want to upload your logo. You might want to upload some standard images that you use quite a lot. You might want to upload video, whatever it is that you want to upload, you can upload by clicking on upload, go to wherever you house your photos or videos, find the image that you're looking for, and let's just take that one, double click on it, and you'll see that it's beginning to download. Now it will come up with a little spinning kind of filling up the window, and the bar will go along to tell you that it's still downloading. So it won't actually let you use it until that bar has stopped downloading, at which point that's now in your collection and you can use that for any design moving forward that you want. So my suggestion to you would be spend a little bit of time, upload your logos, any regular content that you use. So if you have photos of your of yourself or of any staff members or any major things that go on in the company, I'm yet to find a limit to, they won't let me upload any more photos. So you can see I've gone back a few years here with different stuff. So, upload your heart's content. You see I've even doubled up on some things because I hadn't realized that I had it in there before. They've recently added this cool little feature called folders, and there you can actually create your own folders for content. But it looks like, to be fair, that they've now moved that into a premium feature. So my apologies, that was free at the beginning of last week. So there we go. So that's uploads. Background is what we covered off earlier. So you can either change the background color by clicking on the background, or you can say, I want a completely different background. I want, I want that. At which stage you just click, or if you're that way inclined, you can drag and drop, and it will take the background over. So again, a lot of options for what you can do. So as I said, you're never going to run out of ways that you can create your own content. Now, once that's done, you can see here, you can also, on the background here, you can also adjust the brightness, contrast. So if you've got a photo that you're using that's not the best, you can play around with that. If you import a photo that's too big, you can hit crop and then just pull it into size or move it about so you get the part of the photo that you want. And when you're happy with that, you click done and it will bring it back to size. So that's all some really handy stuff to know as well. Now, just checking in, any questions? Am I going too fast? Are we okay with what's happening? We've got about half an hour left, so I want to make sure that we go through actually creating a couple of different options and showing you how to resize things and doing all of that. So just check in with me, let me know you're still alive and you're following and that we're all good to keep going. Excellent. Thanks, Renee. Cool. All right, let's go. So the next thing I want you to show, and we'll finish this post off, but the next thing I want to show you is where all of your designs live. So let's assume you've finished this, you're happy with, always say what you mean and mean what you say. I think that was a Dr. Seuss quote. So let's attribute that to Dr. Seuss. And now we're happy with that. We're going to change the coloring back to what it was previously. Let's leave it at that. That's pretty. So we'll just put that back to Dr. Seuss. And we're good with that. So now we've got the option of downloading it or sharing it. Now, at this point, if you wanted to collaborate with someone, so if you have a VA or a son or a daughter or a sister or an aunt or a cousin or something that's really good at graphics and you just want to kind of show off and get their opinion on what you've created, if you pop their email address in here, you can then give them the option to either view or edit it. So if you want them to make any final changes and make sure that it's kind of perfect, you can pop their name in and, yep, give them the rights to edit and then send invite, and they'll get a note to say you've created this thing in Canva, come and have a look at it. And at that point, if you've given them editing rights, they can go, oh no, that really, you can't read that. Let's change that back. And, you know, let's make sure that font is a little bigger. And they can do whatever they want if they've got editing rights. So Mike, share is for that, that template that you're creating. So in this instance, it's the webinar post. It's for the whole post. So they would have editing rights for, they could change the background, they could change the font, they could get rid of the exclamation marks, they could insert a picture, they could make it completely different if they wanted to in terms of the editing. So they can change absolutely anything in that initial design that you're creating. So if they've got viewing rights only, then they would have to write back to you and go, actually, I think you should change the color or change the font or do whatever. Now, the other nice thing that you can do is if you want to give them options, see down here, you've got add a new page. You can actually add a new page. And then you can, from there, go, well, what's it going to look like if I do one that's got a photo in it as well? So let's put a photo in and let's put a bit of text in. And then when the person that you're sharing it with gets it, they'll have the option, you know, they'll have 1 or 2 pages and you might say, you know, do you prefer the one with the photo or do you prefer the one with the plain background? So you can play around with that as well. And you can add, you know, add titles. So option 2, option 1, and, you know, at the end of this, you might say, which do you prefer? And give them the option. Now, the other thing that's really handy if you're working on a bigger document, and I'll show you some of the ones that I mean, is you can actually change the size when you're working on the screen. So if you can see down here where my cursor is, I've got 62% at zoom. Now, if I go fill, that's going to make it, you know, really big. I can kind of see what's going on. Or I can, you know, drop it down to 50% or, you know, wherever. So again, working with people who are vision impaired or even, you know, my parents are in their 80s. If I want to send my mum something to have a look at, I'm going to want to make sure that she knows how to zoom in on that and have a look at what that looks like. Page Manager, not such a big one to worry about right now. Happy to go into details with that. That's more about if you're looking to really send it off for print and things like that. Now, one of the things I will bring to your attention is the download. Now, this is where you're just going to download that image as a PNG. Now, PNG and JPEG are perfect. So JPEG, small file, higher quality image, small file size. These are both perfect for uploading for social media. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, they'll all take PNG or JPEG. If you want to do it as a PDF, there is a PDF option in there as well. So you click on the option that you want. Do you want both pages or just the first page? So let's go, well, we decided that option 1 was the way to go and we're going to download it. And because we've named it, you can see it's coming up, preparing your design. Now, because they're really pushing, Canva is really pushing their pro version right now. Each time you download something, it says, hey, try pro for 14 days for free. absolutely give it a crack. But here's the thing. My advice to you would be get proficient with all of the tools that the free version offers you first. And then if you're still looking around for things, and I'm yet to kind of find anyone other than graphic designers that really want to pay for it, then I don't see the need to. You know, some of the stuff that you get is magically resizing your designs. That's kind of handy, but there's a few other tools out there that are also free that you can use. You can create a brand kit, which is great if you're working with, say, a graphic designer overseas, or if you have a larger team and you want to make sure that they're always using the right colors and the right fonts and that kind of thing, then a brand kit is excellent. Transparent backgrounds, you know, there's not a whole lot to it really, in my opinion, that you get in the pro version that you're not getting in the free version. So get proficient with the free version first, and then have a play with the pro for sure. Now, I downloaded that, so that's going to sit in my downloads, and you can see it's come out there. So that's ready to post or ready to share on social media, and it's good to go. So that's the first design. You've designed something in Canva. Well done. Now let's have a look back in. You also see that that will now be sitting in my designs, hopefully. Let me refresh the page. And there we go. Could not load image because I've still got it open. Okay, so that now sits in there, and you can see I've gone through and I've created a bunch of stuff over the years. So I've played with logos. I do all of my LinkedIn cover photos in the back in Canva. I do my Facebook cover photos. I create stuff for clients in here just to give them an idea of what I'm thinking. Booking cards, flyers. So let's have a look at a flyer. If you want to go back in and have a look at something you've created, all you do is click on the design, and again, you can see it's opened up that second tab. So we've still got our home page open, but now we've got a flyer. Now, this was a flyer that I designed as an A4. So if you can imagine a standard piece of paper, and you can see that it's imported at 44%. Now, if I want to work on that, I actually want to see what's going on. So I've just zoomed in on it there. Now, if I make an adjustment to this now, it's going to adjust that main file, right? So it's going to adjust my main one that I've created a while ago. So what I can do, you see those three little dots that appear as I'm hovering over my Aspas flyer. If I click on that, I've got the option to make a copy, move to a folder, get shareable link. I want to go ahead and make a copy. So, whoops, let's clicking on aimless things now. So now let's go back and find the copy of the flyer. It's probably gone up the top. Copy of Aspas flyer. So now if I click on that, you can see I've got Aspas flyer open, and I've got the copy of the Aspas flyer open. So now I can go ahead and rename this Aspas flyer V2 November 19. Now there's been some price changes since I did the first one, so I might want to go ahead and, you know, change some of this out. So that would be why I would want to make a copy. You always want to keep your one source of truth, and then you can adjust your copy from there. So all I did with this was start out with a template again, just like we talked about earlier. So all of the templates for the flyers are over here. So if I, you know, click on this, it's going to say to me, you've already put a lot of work into this template. There's a whole bunch of stuff already here. Are you sure? You really sure that you want to replace this template that you've just clicked on over the top of everything else? And if you're not sure, here's the thing. You can go add template as a new page. And just like we talked about earlier, it's going to pop that in as a second page. So at that point, you can begin to work on another option. So you've got your main one that you know it's been working. That's your kind of 0 point of truth. You want to try something a little different. So this time you're going to go with something, you know, straight out of a different template. So this is where you get to play with the different designs. So if I click on this, I can change, you know, the size. I can change, click done. I can change the color. I can change out that photo. So if you can see, that image is now popped up. So it's asking me, do I want to crop it? Do I want to change it? So if I go to my uploads and just click on, I won't click on a client because that'd be rude. Let me click on, whoops, let's put him in over the top. Okay, so let me drag and drop him into there. Now you can see he doesn't quite fit, right? So I want to double click on him. And then all I'm going to do is drag him across until he fits the pane. So once he's in the pane and I'm happy with it, I click on done and it shows me that he's in there. Now, if I double click on the photo again, the whole image is still there. So if I go, you know, actually I want to see what it looks like with a bit more cape, I go back to done. It's cut his gut off. It looks funny. Let me double click on it again. All right, let's move it back. Let's click done. Yeah, that looks all right. Actually, it looks a bit silly because the cape you can't really see. So let's go for a different image altogether. So you can have a real play around with what you want. All I'm doing is dragging and dropping these images over the top. So again, double click. All I'm going to do this time is drop the image down so it fits. Done. Okay, I'm kind of happy with that. That looks okay. So from there, you know, again, I can adjust the color of the frame that's there. So I want to make that blue to align with that. So it won't change all of the elements at once. It will change element by element. So if you can see, I've changed that one to blue, but this one's still that bronzy color. So it doesn't change everything. You have to go in element by element and change them to match. So just be aware of that, that it's not a one size fits all as you're creating. So if you actually want those in different colors, you can do that. But you need to go in through each element and change them up. Is that making sense, guys? Any questions on this bit of it? No? You're all taking it in? All good? Thanks, Christine. Love it. Perfect. Excellent. All right. So this is working on the bigger flyer. Let me just have another question come in. So let me just, fine. Excellent, Mike. Thank you. So that's going to add that page now. So if I was to download that document now, so it's coming as a PDF print. Now I've got the option of PDF standard. The PDF print, one thing to keep in mind with their sizing, with Canva sizing, if you're going for a print and you want to send this across to your printer, for example, and go, hey guys, I've created, or even if you want to use Vistaprint, I've created this document. I want to get, 1,000 of these flyers printed off. Bear in mind that they do use American sizing. So you do need to be a little mindful of that. If you work with a printer or a good graphics person and you're just creating this to use as emails or online collateral or to upload to social media or things like that, not a problem. It's when you go to upload to Vistaprint or to send off to a printer that you just need to give them the heads up that it was created in Canva. And then usually those guys will be able to resize it for you without too much problem. So just do make a note to let them know that. So if I go download, now that's going to come through with 3 pages. You can see the download is pretty quick. It depends on how many images you put in there, to be honest, and how image dense it is. But it is reasonably quick considering you can do all of this yourself. And while that's happening, I can be going back and, starting to look through other things. Now, I just want to check in because I did mention infographics. This is one of my favorite things about Canva. Do you guys know what an infographic is? Have you used them? Have you come across them before? You can see, just give me a bit of guidance as to your infographic knowledge while I'm waiting on this to drop, and I'll show you what the flyer looks like. So you can see there's my page 1, there's our page 2 that we added in, and there's my page 3. So that's all come through pretty quick. Okay, so what have we got? Haven't used them, seen them, not created. Yes, seen many. Perfect. Haven't used them though. Excellent. All right. So you're going to love infographics. So let's go up to our little search window, and we're going to type in infographic. And if I click on there, I'm going to close all these other panes down now, because otherwise it's like my head and there's too many tabs open. Okay, so I was showing somebody what a infographic looked like. So this is a recently used one. But if we click on see all, not see all. Let's go back. Let's go back, Tracy. Okay, so education graphics, process graphics, business graphics, timelines, charities, and all results. So here's where you can kind of start to have a play with, you know, what you like the look of. Don't get too caught up when you're looking through about, you know, the colors. For me, choosing the infographic is more about, has it got the type of formats and things that you're looking for? Are you wanting something that's like a timeline, or are you looking for something with a few more circles? Are you looking for something, you know, that's going to timeline things through? Do you want to talk about what's going on in a particular country? You know, do you want to talk about, there was a great one I saw on making wine. So just pick the one that the elements suit what you want to do the best, because then, you know, again, just like we did with, I'm going to increase that size, maybe not that much. Then just like we did with the first thing we created, we can adjust those colors to suit, right? So don't think you're locked in to, oh, I've got to use this because that's the colors they gave me. No. You can, you know, go as happy as you want with, clearly I'm not a color specialist if I'm putting, you know, everything into the one thing. So you can change all of that. Again, you can change the font, you can change the little images out, you know, you can change the numbers out, you can mix that up 100% as much. So it can look completely different by the end of it if you want to. The main thing is to find the infographic or find the design template. That would be my tip to you. Whatever design you're looking for, find the one that looks closest to what you you want in terms of elements, and then from there, you know, personalize it as much as you want. So if we look at an Instagram post, for example, you know, if you like the idea of having a photo in the background with a quote in the middle, use that. If you like the idea of the quote off to the side, use that. If you just want a basic, you know, background with some words, use that. But pick the one that kind of, I like the look of that the most. And then, so here's a perfect example. Now that has come up with that gritty background. Now, if I upload my own photo, that should get rid of that for us. So let me just pick a photo that's not about me. Oops, go away. There we go. Now that got rid of the gritty background. Now, if I would have left that photo of the oranges in, it would have asked me to pay for it at the end. So you just want to be mindful that, you know, you can use that background, that's fine. You might just need to import your own image, which most of us want to do anyway, because the idea is you want to personalize it, right? You want to make it about your business. That's the whole thing that gets people interested in what's going on. So just play around with what's going to look the best as you're importing things, and use your own images, insert your own images, make the branding about your business. And again, just like we've done before, we can change the colors on any of these things, the borders, the backgrounds, the font, the color of the font. You know, general rule is light background, darker font, except you can see here where we change the color. You can change the font again. You know, we can say we want it off to the left. What does it look like if we justify it? What does it look like if we put it off to the right? This, we actually want that to be dot points. So you can play around, or numbers, we can play around with that to our heart's content. So there's a lot of stuff there. Now, we are fast running out of time. Is there any particular questions that I haven't covered off that you had some burning desire to understand about Canva tonight in the final 7 minutes that we have together? Is there anything that you have been wondering about that you want me to run through quickly, that you want me to explain before we kind of make sure that we cover off the last of the housekeeping things that we need to in our time together? Christine, Renee, how are you guys doing? You feeling more confident? You feeling like you're ready to go out and start creating some Canva designs now? Okay, so it seems as though everybody's kind of happy with what's gone on. It's been a great help. Excellent. All good. Got some pointers on things I had problems with. Perfect. Excellent. All right. So the last few things I want to run through in the last couple of minutes with you is a little more housekeeping on sizing for different parts of social media, heading, background. Are they all standard and easy to find? Okay. Great question, Mike. Absolutely. So is there a particular, Mike, is there a particular social media platform that you use more than others? Are you a LinkedIn person, an Instagram, Facebook? LinkedIn, good man. Love LinkedIn. It's my favorite social media platform. So I'll give you the hint. Here's I've created all of my LinkedIn covers in Canva. So all you do is type in LinkedIn and you can see LinkedIn banner. And again, same thing, just find the backdrop that you like the look of. Now, I went personally with the black background and then just imported my logo. Now, the reason for that is, I'm going to quickly open up my LinkedIn profile and show you why that is. It's just the layout that LinkedIn have now with where your profile photo fits and where. So you can see the reason you want to leave some blank space is your photo sits off to the left. So just don't make it too text heavy. You want people to be able to see and understand very quickly what you're known for and why they're here. So I always put my website in and a couple of things that, you know, I'm kind of known for, my big hitters that I want people to understand. MailChimp. So do you want to give me a little bit more other than MailChimp? Because, I mean, it's a CRM, but if you're after an email header or something. So LinkedIn, type in LinkedIn, go to LinkedIn banner, and you'll see there's a bunch of basic templates that come up there. And from there, you can either grab one and insert, you know, upload 4 different photos that you've got. It might be, you know, I work with HubSpot. I work with, you know, here's another customer. Here's something else I do. You can just play around with the templates to your heart's content until you find the one that works perfectly for you. So let me just check the MailChimp question that we had. Yes, a header. Okay, perfect. So I'm guessing you mean like an email header, in which case, email header. So all I did was type in email. And again, similar thing. So it just comes up either blank. So I created an email header for myself the other week. Or again, if you want to do, you know, birthday, hey, it's our birthday, pink. So we had October was Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And then all your results are there. Again, just find the one that the elements are there that you like the look of, and then design away to your heart's content and make sure that it fits your brand and fits what you're looking for from there. Great, it's the same. Perfect. Love it. Excellent. All right, guys, we are 3 minutes before the great and powerful Zoom will cut us off. So the last thing I wanted to just go through is just a bit of a regroup. So remembering, you know, the whole idea of Canva is to tip on those 5 big reasons that we use good visuals to begin with. So Canva is going to help you improve the quality of your visuals. It's going to increase the retention of your content. So as people are scrolling through, if you're doing infographics and things, people are going to take in that information and retain it a lot longer than just a whole lot of words on the page. Create unique and compelling content. So you really can, as I hope you've seen over the last hour, it really does give you the ability to really, you know, design something that is very bespoke. My challenge to you is to create your free Canva account if you haven't already created one, and create a Facebook or a LinkedIn cover photo or an Instagram. I want you to create some kind of social media banner utilizing Canva. And I'd love you to do that in the next, you know, week if you've got the opportunity, and feel free to tag me in it so I can see that you've done it. Some other cool stuff I want to let you know about in the last 2 minutes. There's a bunch of other workshops that I'm running, webinars that I'm running this month. If you're interested, all of them are $2.20, just like the one that we did tonight. So on the 16th, I've got how to effectively repurpose your content. So I'm a big believer in creating good quality content and then repurposing it and leveraging it as much as possible. November 27th is all about effective email marketing. So one of the things that we do in my business is I'm a HubSpot agency partner, which is kind of like MailChimp on speed. And, you know, we're going to be talking about what makes a good email marketing campaign and effective email marketing. And then December 3, I'm running one on developing your 2020 digital marketing strategy. So if you're interested in any of those, $2.20, you can register through the Aspas website. Happy to send the links out again in the follow-up. Last but not least, if you're based in Queensland and you're interested, I'm running a bonus free webinar from my business, Unusual Comms, tomorrow evening, and that's everything you wanted to know about the Queensland digital grants. And that is, as I said, a free webinar just about the upcoming digital grant that's coming out on Monday the 11th. Interested in one-to-one consults, take a screenshot of this one. The link at the bottom will get you registered with me. I'll register you in the system. One-to-one consults, you can do 2 hours per month, 24 hours in total. If you want to dive deeper on Canva, like we did tonight, if you want to, you know, create something particular, if you want to talk about podcasting or LinkedIn strategy or social media or anything like that, you can utilize those one-to-one consults. And hopefully by now you've joined the Facebook group. So if you haven't, screenshot that and join us. We have, I add a bunch of extra content in there all the time about, you know, what I'm reading and what I'm coming across with digital marketing. So ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure spending the hour with you. That's me. Well, that's not me. That's some little dude. But that's me. I'm Tracy Sheen. Unusual Comms is my business. I hope you've enjoyed the webinar. I hope you've learnt something. Please tag me. And look forward to hearing from you all soon. Thanks so much, Mike. Everyone have a wonderful evening. And again, thanks so much for sharing the last hour with me. So take care and we'll chat soon. All right, bye.